Well, Mikey, thank you for joining season 2 of Tim's Takes last year. You were the first person that was selected. This year I was going to select you first, and then Gary decided to pull my heartstrings a little bit and feel like he was the first person that would be appropriate to be on the show. So thanks for being second choice, second fiddle. But we'll get you week 2, which is now week 3 or week 4. I don't even know what week it is. But thanks for joining the program.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Totally understand you needed to fulfill your end of the deal on that Justin Jefferson trade, bring Gary in week 1. So no hard feelings. I'm ready to go at it for week 2.
All right, cool. So let's get right into it. Last year, there's a lot of shuffling around. You had a big emotional push for the playoffs. Unfortunately, you lost to, in the first round to Team Sugar. I'm not sure if you know this, but there is actually a new feature on MFL where you could actually figure out, like, if you have like a potential point, and it's kind of like it measures your effectiveness. So I've often spoke about in-season management, and you were 77% effective in your first and only berth of the playoffs. How do you feel about that?
I'm not following exactly what that means. 77% effective. How so?
So obviously the highest is 100 points. You could have scored 197.8 points in your only playoff berth. In context, BDL also could have won last year's finals potential points, 178 to Gary's 151.
So you're just saying if I started different guys.
That's right. It's a new thing on MFL that actually analyzes every single week how people are effective as managers.
I don't remember off the top of my head who I started and who I didn't start that week. I know this year, I made a questionable decision to start Hollywood Brown over Kareem Hunt, and that costed me 20 points. So, unfortunately, that wasn't great. I don't know if you have the playoffs last year in front of you. I don't remember who I could have started, whatnot, but unfortunately, last year didn't work out. Nothing I can do about it. We all know that, as Gary likes to say, squint your eyes a couple different ways, wink your head a couple times. I could have won, but we're on to the new year now.
So, this new feature that we talk about, who would you say this year is probably the worst in being effective as a manager?
I would say so far through 3 weeks, I think it's got to be Jeff, only because he's 0-3 and he's played Agent Zero twice. So if he's already lost 2 games on his schedule that were 2 of the most winnable games he's going to have all year, I just don't see a lot of wins left on that schedule for him. So he's going to have a pretty hard time.
So it actually gives me great pride to say that you're incorrect in this, that it's actually eyeballers.
Wow.
Who is effective. Those could be like the Ryan thing or not. It seemed to have lost video here. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So Ryan managing Tyler's team last year, he was pretty successful. Eyeballers this year in your matchup, week 1, benched over 60 points, 67% effective.
Well, that was his first chance to actually manage the team without Ryan helping him. So we saw what happens.
That's right. So your stats.
I got Tyler on my schedule. I've got Tyler again on my schedule this week coming up. So pretty excited about that. I'm thinking he's probably going to do the same thing and start the wrong guys.
So week 1 for you, you were 89% effective. Week 2, 91. Week 3, 75%.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with benching Kareem Hunt. That was definitely not a great move. He's people don't think of him this way just because Nick Chubb's there. But Kareem Hunt, I want to say is averaging like 16 or 17 points in the first, and is definitely a top 10 point scoring running back as of this moment. So he's definitely an every week starter, even though he's not technically RB1 in his team. He would be RB1 for a lot of DCL teams in this league. But fortunately for me, he's my RB4. So I know there's a lot of teams that don't have much running back depth in this league. Fortunately, I'm not one of them. So yeah, I'm definitely happy with my running back performance so far in the early weeks of the season.
Okay. Now, last year, you had said that Crane was the best GM, worst GM was Geoff. Do you still feel that way? Do you still feel like that holds true?
I definitely think the Crane's still the best GM. He's had a couple tough injuries so far. AJ Brown looks like he's probably going to be out a couple weeks. McCaffrey got hurt. His depth is going to be tested early, but he fortunately has a lot of it. And just looking at his roster, he's definitely got the best team on paper. And Jeff, I mean, yeah, he's 0-3. So I don't really need to say much else to back that up. I mean, he's the worst GM. He's got arguably the worst team. Jared and Tin are pretty bad too, but they at least I don't know. They're accepting the fact that they're bad. Jeff is slowly getting there. He made a couple trades that indicates he's going in the tanking direction, but I don't know. He's still got a couple pieces that he's hanging on to a little bit too long. And until he lets all those go, I think I'm confident in saying he is the worst GM in the league.
Now, last year you also mentioned that Tin was the worst negotiator. Do you still feel that way?
Honestly, no. Tin's done a really good job of getting deals done. He's just recently did a deal with his rival Hancock, and that's something I didn't think I'd ever see happen. So Tin has definitely gotten a lot better recently with negotiating. He did reach out to me about his quarterbacks before he just pulled off that Russell Wilson deal. And so, I mean, he's definitely making an effort. He's reaching out to teams. He's not just pulling any random deal. So I appreciate that. I think he's gotten a lot better. I personally told him I did not need a quarterback right now. I have the leader TB12 on my team, who, as of right now, is ranked QB1, more points than any other quarterback in the league. So I'm going to take my chances with him and keep going. I think he's got a championship run in him this year.
Now, last year, you called yourself a DCL dominator in the regular season. Do you feel like that this year you could still hold on to that?
I do. I definitely do. I think that I have I do think Crane's got the best team, but he's got a couple injuries early. Like I said, fortunately, knock on wood so far, I have not had to deal with any injuries. Will Fuller still kind of getting his legs under him. He just played for the first time in, like, I think 10 weeks or something like that this week. So once Tua comes back, I'm hoping he can contribute. But aside from that, my team's been healthy, fortunately. And I do have a lot of depth. And I think that I'm going to be one of the top teams in the regular season. I think I'll be right there fighting for a first round bye. The 2-1 start was big for me because I did have some tough early season matchups. I've got Tyler again this week. After that, I believe I have Garrett and Crane as two of my next ones. My schedule is really front loaded. Jared is somewhere in there too, where I'm thinking that through the first 7 weeks, if I can just get to 4-3, which means I need to go 2-2 over my next 4, and Jared's one of them, which, I mean, it's Jared. I'm winning that game. So the other 3, if I can just go 1-2, those other 3 games, put me at 4-3. Yeah, I think that I'm going to end up in a position to get a first round bye. Wow. Because I'll get all my hard games out of the way early. And then after that, figure I'm 4-3, or even if I'm 3-4 and I lose all 3 of those games. 4 weeks after that, I have a stretch of playing Rat, you, Jeff, and Tim.
Wow.
4 weeks in a row. That to me look like 4 dubs. And right there, that'll put me at 8-3, which I'm figuring like worst case scenario. I'm right in contention for that first round bye. And once I get that, anything could happen. We've seen how important buys are in this league. So I know I don't have the best historical playoff record in the DCL, But I also have only had that first round bye once, and that year I got to the championship. So I like my chances this year. I think I have a good team. I think that the schedule favors me late in the season when I'm going to need some wins. A lot of other playoff teams are going to be in tight matchups, and yeah, I like my chances.
Now, you last year did a very curious trade. Metcalf, you and Crane like flip flopped. Can you walk me through what happened with that? I think you froze.
We've seen how tough it is to get top end running backs in this league. Last year, Jones was on I think a $4 contract, something like that, and he helped me build my team down the stretch. Like I said, didn't work out. To bring him back on a 3-year contract now, and I really like. I've got him and Chubb locked up for the next 3 years. Don't have to worry about running backs. And Jones, I mean, we've seen this year what he can do. I would guess off the top. Hold on, I was getting another call. All right, I would guess off the top of my head, Jones probably only trails Derrick Henry in fantasy points right now for running backs. Granted, a lot of that was from his 4-touchdown game, but still, he was good this week too. I think Jones is easily a top 5 running back. I don't regret the trade at all. Metcalf is obviously a stud, but it's very, very difficult to get good running backs in this league.
Very difficult. Okay. So I know that, you last year seemed to have like buyer's remorse on Nick Chubb. Have things changed?
Things have changed, and the biggest change is Kareem Hunt. Last year, when I had buyer's remorse, I did not have Kareem Hunt, and that's what I was remorseful about. I learned my lesson. I saw how important it was to make sure you have your cuffs because Nick Chubb went down, and I didn't have a replacement for him. This year, I have Kareem Hunt, and he's obviously been great even with Nick Chubb. But if anything were to happen to Chubb, I have Hunt. And likewise, I gave Crane a future one for A.J. Dillon, which seems easy because Dillon barely used the field. But if anything does happen to Aaron Jones, I think A.J. Dillon's going to step right in and be an RB1 too. So I saw how important it was to get your cuffs, paid the price this year, and now I don't have to worry about it.
Okay. So, your thought on, like a lot of people have nicknames and everything. Your nickname is Dory.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Are you upset by that or not?
No, I'm not upset at all. I actually I've embraced it so much so I'll take you on a little tour of my backyard right now.
Oh, that's great.
So right now I'm poolside over here, and keep walking this way.
It's beautiful landscaping. You must not use
Thank
Tyler's guy.
I don't use Tyler's guy. So
I think we're a little clippy.
So
you clipped out. I did not hear what you said.
I was showing the pond. I don't know if you saw it or not, but there's a bunch of little dories swimming around in there right now. So I've embraced it. I've got them all in the pond in my backyard. So
you feel good about it.
Dory.
Okay.
Feel really good about
it. You had some hot takes last year during our meeting with, about Gary, that you were better than his team on paper any day of the week. Obviously eating crows, he is the DCL champ. I know that you did your rankings. Can't really remember where you pegged Gary, but was that like in the 5th spot?
The rankings for last year or this year?
This year.
This year, I think I actually had Gare higher than that, but the rankings were done before the Dobbins injury, and didn't he have another injury too? Yeah,
Teen or whatever the fuck his name is.
Oh yeah, before those injuries happened, I think I actually had Gare ranked 2 or 3. Those are big injuries, and somehow he's managed to overcome it. He's put up a huge week this past week. Is he in first place right now?
He is not in first place. Ryan is actually in first place with 513 points.
Okay.
And you have Sugar Monsters is 507. Now these are just leaders in points. Records, the only people that are perfect are Crane and E-Money. Gary's actually third in points and you're fourth in points.
Okay.
Gary's 2-1. I believe that he lost to Tin. Or I need to research this.
Tin's 0-3. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the range that Gary's going to fall in. I don't think he has the horsepower to win another championship this year with those injuries, but there's a lot of bad teams. He's not one of the best, even with those injuries. I think he's still going to get in the playoffs, but I think that's probably where it's going to end this year. I think he gets in somewhere between the 4 and the 6 seed and probably loses in the first round. So, as you like to say, I think you could probably call him a bubble boy this year.
Oh, that'd be great. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Gary actually lost in week 1 to Hardiman, 156 to 149. And then he beat, But so this week you have, Tyler. Hopefully he's a little bit more efficient. But your output or outlook for the season, do you feel like this is your year?
I do. I really do. Crane.
You feel like you could beat Crane or E-Money?
So my prediction right now, I know I've said Crane's the best team and everything. I think Ryan wins the league this year. That's my prediction. But I do believe that I'm going to get a first round bye. And if I do that, anything could happen in the playoffs. I like my chances. I think I definitely have a chance. I could beat either one of them, but if I had to predict a winner right now, I think Ryan wins the league. He put up a huge week against me this week, and he had a lot of injuries to deal with and still overcame them. He has depth, and he's got a team that could definitely win the whole thing this year. I really thought I was going to beat him this week. He had T. Higgins go down and not play. Obviously, Raheem Mostert didn't play. Raheem Mostert's backup didn't play. Deontay Johnson was hurt. He didn't play. And he managed to scrape together a really, really solid week. And most teams, if they had injuries like that, they'd be lucky to break 100. And he ended up with like 170 something.
178, and he actually was at 96% effective.
Yep. Yeah, he's got a good team. If anybody can beat Crane, it's probably him.
That's going to be a great matchup whenever that does happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, Mikey, I know that you got a busy day ahead of you. I know that you have the Peloton coming. Hopefully you share the username with everyone and they're not like Gary. But good luck to you this season. And we'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah. I want to one more thing before I head out. I know you're probably busy as well, but the one thing I did prepare for, because you sent me a message the other day, was talking about the best and the worst trades so far this year.
Oh yeah, sure.
So before I sign off, I just want to give my quick opinion on that. And I only factored in trades that happened since this season started, so I didn't go back past that. But, and granted, it's a small sample size. There haven't been a ton of trades. We haven't had a ton of time to see them play out yet. But right off the bat, for best trade, I think it's Crane in that 3-way deal where he got rid of Juju. And he got back a 1 and a 2. So at face value, just for that value, it's good. Juju was a really bad contract, and Crane can spin it any which way he wants. But Juju's not worth $24 for 2 years. So not only did he manage to get back good value in a 1 and a 2, but he also unloaded that contract, which allowed him to free up enough salary to do a different trade where he got Cortland Sutton. he got Christian McCaffrey, and more importantly, the cap room allowed him to sign Patrick Mahomes in free agency. He had enough money to do whatever the hell he wanted. He had enough salary cap to sign both of Najee Harris and Jamar Chase to their bigger rookie contracts. And without Jeff bailing him out of that Juju contract, he would not have been able to do any of that. So that, in my opinion, was the best trade. An honorable mention, and I hate to do this because of my little rivalry with him. I'm going to throw
You're clipping.
really good trade.
You're going to have to repeat that because you clipped in and out.
So I don't know what part clipped out, but I was saying an honorable mention for a really good trade. Rat getting Austin Eckler for 2 1s, and he gave up a couple shitty contracts in Leonard Fournette and Robbie Anderson. So I think it was a great trade because that's a great value. Eckler, in my opinion, is worth way more than 2 1s. However, the thing that doesn't make a whole lot of sense is Rat sucks. He's agent zero. He's not going to make the playoffs this year. So I think it was a little stupid for him to give up his future picks for a guy like Eckler. But at face value, I have to admit, 2 1s is really fair value for a guy like that. Looking at the worst trade, I'm sorry to say, but it's you giving up that 1 and Ruggs to 10 for a poo-poo platter of like Tyson Williams, who's probably going to be irrelevant in a week or two. And we'll see, but that there hasn't been a whole lot of really bad trades. That right now, in my opinion, is the worst one. And then an honorable mention, just because I love talking shit on Jeff's team. He gave up a 2nd-round pick for Phillip Lindsay, who is the like 3rd or 4th running back on the Texans. So that's what I mean.
Well, I do have 2 of them.
Yeah. So Jeff, on one hand, makes a couple good moves, but it just seems like for every move he makes, positive, he takes 2 steps backwards by doing dumb things like that. Like, what's Jeff doing, giving up a future pick for a guy like Phillip Lindsay? I have no idea. That's part of the reason why he's the worst GM in the league. And yeah, I appreciate the time you took today. I know I was not an easy man to track down. It's been a busy week, but
I gotcha.
Glad we took the time and did this.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Mikey, good luck in the rest of the season. And I actually like my trade, but
Okay.
I got Tim Patrick, who now could be a wide receiver 1-2 on the Broncos. We'll see what happens. That's why you do deals. You got to take shots, cast a wide net.
Yep. You definitely did that with the poo-poo platter.
That's right. That's right. I'll see you soon, man. Take care.
All right. I'll see you later.
Bye.